Abraham dreams. Jacob dreams. Joseph dreams. But were biblical dreams unique, or were they part of a much older tradition shared across the ancient Near East? Throughout Mesopotamia, Egypt, Ugarit, and Assyria, kings, priests, and prophets believed that the gods communicated through dreams. Understanding that world helps us understand Genesis in an entirely new way. Welcome! I'm glad you're here. In this video, we're going to travel across the ancient Near East, through Mesopotamia, Egypt, Ugarit, and Assyria, and discover how understanding these ancient cultures transforms the way we read Genesis. Part 1. Why did dreams matter so much to the ancient world? In the ancient worldview, the gods were not silent. They were constantly communicating with humanity. The universe itself was understood as a continuous stream of divine messages, and humans needed to learn how to read them. Their methods of receiving divine communication were many. Dreams, prophecy, omens, astrology, liver divination, sacred visions. Every channel of the cosmos was potentially a message from the gods. Unlike modern people, ancient Near Easterners viewed the universe as constantly sending divine messages. The night sky, the movement of birds, the shape of animal organs, all of it was a text written by the gods, waiting to be decoded. Part 2. Mesopotamia. One of the oldest stories in the world is the Atrahasis epic. In it, the god Enki warns the hero Atrahasis about a coming flood through a dream. Sound familiar? Like Noah, except the revelation comes through a dream, not a direct divine command. The god speaks through the wall of a reed hut, warning Atrahasis to build a vessel. The structure of the story is remarkably close to Genesis, yet it predates it by over 1,000 years. Then there is Gilgamesh, perhaps the most famous hero of Mesopotamian literature. Gilgamesh repeatedly receives symbolic dreams that his mother interprets. His companion Enkidu later dreams of the divine council deciding his fate. Dreams move the entire story forward. Part 3. Professional dream interpreters. Interpreting dreams in ancient Mesopotamia was not superstition. It was an academic profession. The Baru priests were trained specialists who studied dreams, stars, sacrifices, and omens. They operated within a complex intellectual framework for understanding divine communication. They studied 4 core domains: dreams, the stars, animal sacrifices, and omens of all kinds. This was a learned guild trained, paid, and institutionally embedded in the royal court. Now Joseph suddenly becomes much easier to understand. He functions exactly as an inspired dream interpreter, performing the same role as the Baru priest. But with one crucial difference: Joseph attributes every interpretation to God, not to magical techniques. He refuses the professional framework entirely. Part 4. Egypt. Egyptian pharaohs also received dreams from the gods. Divine beings appeared to them during sleep, delivering messages of cosmic importance. Dream books existed, actual manuals for interpreting dream imagery. The tradition was thoroughly institutionalized. In a practice known as incubation, kings would sleep in sacred spaces hoping to receive divine visions. They came prepared to priests, rituals, and prayers, all designed to invite the gods to speak. Then we arrive at Genesis 41. Joseph stands before Pharaoh, inside this cultural tradition. The setting is Egyptian. The dreams are Egyptian. But Joseph refuses Egyptian magic. He says clearly, the interpretation belongs solely to God. He transforms the tradition from within. Part 5. Ugarit. From the ancient city of Ugarit on the Syrian coast, we have 2 remarkable texts. King Karat receives a dream after crying out to the god El for help. In it, El promises him descendants. The story of Daniel follows a similar pattern: a righteous man prays, and the god appears in a dream to promise a son. The parallels with Abraham and Jacob are striking. Both receive divine appearances in dreams. Both receive promises of descendants. Both are childless men whose crisis becomes the occasion for divine speech. The literary convention is shared, but the theological content is worlds apart. Part 6. Neo-Assyrian prophecy.
In the Neo-Assyrian Empire, the goddess Ishtar spoke through prophets, men and women who delivered divine oracles to the king.
Dreams encouraged kings before battle. Prophetic texts celebrated royal ideology, assuring the monarch of divine support.
Now compare with Samuel, Nathan, Isaiah, and Jeremiah. Biblical prophecy belongs to the same cultural conversation, but it radically transforms it. Where Assyrian prophecy validates the king, biblical prophecy confronts him. Where Assyrian oracles serve imperial ideology, biblical prophets serve divine justice.
Part 7. Balaam outside the Bible.
In 1967, archaeologists excavating Tel Der Allah in Jordan discovered something extraordinary: a wall inscription written in a Canaanite dialect, dating to around 800 BCE.
It features a figure named Balaam, son of Beer. The same Balaam who appears in Numbers 22.
In this inscription, Balaam receives a night vision from the gods, a direct parallel to his biblical role. This means that outside the Bible, independently of any Israelite tradition, Balaam was already known as a visionary who received divine revelation through dreams.
Why does this matter?
Because it demonstrates that biblical prophecy was not an isolated Israelite invention. It belonged to a much broader Near Eastern phenomenon, a world where visionaries received divine messages through dreams and visions. The Bible participates in that world, but transforms it.
Part 8. What makes Genesis different? Genesis clearly shares literary conventions with the ancient Near East. The dreams, the divine appearances, the promises of descendants, the prophetic interpreters, all of these fit recognizable patterns from Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Canaan. Genesis is not speaking from outside that world. It speaks from within it. But notice the remarkable differences. First, the God of Genesis is absolutely sovereign. Dreams in Genesis are not magical techniques to be manipulated. No ritual forces revelation. No professional priest controls access to God. Second, in Genesis, the dream always serves the covenant. Every divine dream advances God's promises to Abraham. The dream is not an isolated supernatural event, it is woven into a larger theological narrative about one God, one people, and one unfolding promise. And third, Joseph himself says it plainly. Standing before the most powerful court in the ancient world, surrounded by professional magicians and trained diviners, Joseph refuses their framework entirely. He asks, "Do not interpretations belong to God?" That single statement summarizes the entire theology of Genesis. Do not interpretations belong to God? Dreams were everywhere in the ancient Near East.
Mesopotamians, Egyptians, Assyrians, and Canaanites all believed the gods communicated through dreams. This was the world into which Genesis was born, a world saturated with divine communication, professional interpreters, and royal visions. Genesis speaks the same cultural language yet tells an entirely different theological story. Instead of many competing gods, there is one sovereign God. Instead of manipulating the divine, God freely reveals himself. Instead of magic, there is covenant. Understanding the ancient world does not weaken the Bible. It helps us appreciate the extraordinary way Genesis transformed familiar traditions into a revolutionary theological vision. Many competing gods, one sovereign God. Manipulating the divine, God freely reveals himself. Magic, covenant. 3 transformations. 1 revolutionary book. If this video helped you see Genesis in a new light, I'd love for you to continue the journey. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video in this series, or we'll go deeper into one of these traditions. Leave a comment below, what surprised you most? And thank you for watching. The ancient world still has so much to teach us.